You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Stream your favorites and discover more with the Disney Bundle. Watch the new season of Loki on Disney+. On Hulu, fear creeps in with the boogeyman. And touchdown with college football on ESPN+. All of these and more streaming now. Get the Disney Bundle with plans starting at $9.99 a month. Plans with ESPN+ starting at $14.99 a month. Terms apply. See DisneyBundle.com for details.
Billy is back from jury duty. We're excited about that. Greg Cote is in today. No back in my day. Why? What's the reason, Greg?
He has to check his notes.
There's a bylaw that's in my contract.
Okay.
That I only do back in my days when Dan is in.
Wow.
Nothing personal, Stugotz.
No. I should be offended, but I'm not.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't there some sort? Yeah, there's some sort of acronym for it.
It's the OWDII, only when Dan is in.
I went to him too early, Chris.
Rattled him.
I should know my teammates. Yeah.
I'm not organized yet. I'm sorry.
Jer Bear is here. We have Lucy. She is here. She's concerned for all of us. We'll get to that in just a second. But we have to start in the most obvious of places. A bad beat. Tony last night. Well, Tony, I will allow you to take us through this because I believe the perfect place to start with Billy co-hosting with me and Greg today is with your misery and your pain.
Right.
So let's start right there, Tony. What happened to you last night in that football game?
All right, so I've got a little action on Josh Palmer, first-time tutty.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I've got first touchdown Josh Palmer, and I also doubled down because I needed him in fantasy to get 14 points, right? So if you're doing the math in a PPR league, I need 7 for 70. I need him to have like 4 for 60 and a touchdown. Like, I need something to happen here. And then
a middle-of-the-road game.
Middle-of-the-road game, right. Middle-of-the-road game.
Got it.
First drive. They throw a little screen pass out to him. He breaks through the first defender, sprints down 30 yards to the touchdown. I'm celebrating. My wife doesn't know what's happening. I'm like, let's go!
Nice.
All of a sudden, I see a yellow flag on the field.
Sure.
Guy hits his head up top, illegal man downfield, took the touchdown back. It was plus, I think, like 1,800 or 1,500.
It was plus 1,800.
It was brutal. It was a brutal beat. Not only that, so again, I need Josh Palmer to have a certain amount of yards and catches to beat somebody in my league. Every pass that's thrown to Josh Palmer has a flag attached to it. They were taking back. He might have had 8 catches, 10 catches last night. 5 of them were taken back because of flags.
Right.
It was insane. The refs were so terrible last night. I don't know what the NFL is going to do on a primetime game where you have your ref almost getting trampled by the QB taking a snap. Everything was terrible the entire game.
Is that the most random referee signal? To like, why is his hand on his head for too many men downfield?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He should have to pat his head and rub his
Yes.
head.
Right. That's hard to do.
though?
Can you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
If he can't, then it's not a penalty.
And the thing is, when he goes like this, right, too many men on the field or whatever it was, I'm like, oh my God, Dallas had 12 defenders. Let's go! Because I was watching on mute, of course, because my wife was doing something, so I couldn't have the sound on. And then it was, illegal man downfield.
so you celebrated, and then you saw the yellow flag, and did you try to convince yourself it was a flag on the other team?
Yes, I was like, oh, it's 12 men. Oh, it's 12 men. I'm
That's
good.
what you did, right? Of
I'm
course.
cashing out.
You were in denial.
Yes. I'm catching out like $400 here. It's illegal, too many men. That's it.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, it was such a bad beat. And I texted Taylor instantly because me and him text on bad beats. And I was just like, I don't know what to do right now. I've lost my mind. And I texted him like in the third quarter because I just had to put everything together, turn the game off for a little bit. I was like, I can't do this.
Right. I understand. I'm sorry, Tony.
Taylor just smirking in the other room.
Everyone loves a bad beat. I mean, when it's not theirs.
It's not theirs, right.
Someone else's bad beat.
Right.
Correct. Billy, back from jury duty. How'd it go?
It went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're here today. That's a good thing.
I am here. Yeah,
Yes.
I wasn't selected. I was there
Yeah.
till like 4:15 yesterday, and then I was released.
We were debating yesterday whether you're the type to want to be selected or want to get out of it as fast as possible.
I heard yesterday's show. I decided to do research and take notes on yesterday's show so I would feel like I was all caught up, which I never do. If I'm not in, I don't listen to the show.
Right.
No offense to any of
Same.
you, but I
Whoa.
just I can't. Like my number one note, we put out a lot of episodes. It took me a long time to catch up. I'm like halfway through hour 1, and I was like, man, God bless our fans for listening to all the stuff we put out, but how long are their drives? Because my drive was like 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I went, today I was listening at 1.2, then I'm like, I got to pick up the pace. Then it was 1.5, then I raised it to 1.8. And then I went this morning when I was at 2. And then I was like, I need to try to catch up when I was in the elevator. So I put it at 2.2, and I was like, I think I got the gist of this. I don't think I need to listen faster than 2.2.
Well, we could do an episode if we want, save the listeners some stress, and we just all talk at 1.8. You guys want to try that maybe?
We could do that.
I don't know.
I think if we really do it, it will just really speed up the process for everything, and everybody will get to listen to the podcast at the speed normally, and then no one will have to speed it up, and it could just be normal speed for everyone, and we'll all talk like this. Jess, your thoughts?
I think it's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Greg, you got excited at 1.8.
My dad talks at 0.8.
I do.
So-
I talk very slow. I
Yes.
listen to myself at 1.8. What's fun to do just as an experiment, find somebody who naturally talks really fast, like Adnan Verk, and listen to him at 1.8.
Don't do that.
It's funny. It's hilarious.
You've done it?
Yeah, I have.
And you just laugh?
It's funny.
I was worried about Samson yesterday when he was on, listening to him a lot faster.
Why? Do you want to go through all your show notes right now?
Well, if I'm going to be honest with you, I left one of my pages of show notes at home. So that one I was trying to do from memory, but I have
you had a second page?
Yeah, I was doing it on. I shouldn't be doing this, but I was doing it on like a notepad while I was like stuck in traffic yesterday, driving home from jury duty.
Right.
And then I left that on my counter at home.
Okay.
But I remembered some of them, so then I just put it in the dock. And
All
then
right.
I have a second note that I was doing in my notebook today while I was driving, which is also dangerous.
So do you want to do this, or?
I can give you one.
Okay.
Lots of strong takes yesterday that don't exist on most other days, especially from Chris Cote.
That's right. Balance to this chair, baby.
Balance.
Bringing balance, because Mike is a homer in this chair usually, so I'm bringing balance.
You were
He's
crapping
a
all
homer.
over a UM.
Do you know how balance works?
No, I
'Cause
understand
Mike's
how
always
balance
a huge
works.
homer,
Yeah.
so I was...
But I think what
bringing some
Billy is saying is a lot of cane steaks that would not have been given if Mike were here.
Where's that when
Right.
Mike's here? Is really what I was wondering.
When
You
did
were
it-
very critical.
They lost 2 in a row. I mean, what do you want from me?
I also I thought Jeremy did a great job with David Sampson yesterday.
He did?
Yeah. I also caught in a little nugget that Jeremy dropped in when he said, you were talking about how you were before you were on this show and what you thought of yourselves before you were on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy just casually dropped in, I used to be happy.
Yeah, it's true. I used to be.
Yeah.
It's changed a little.
How are you feeling today? You look great.
Yeah.
Jeremy's dressed as a bear for those of you watching or listening on a podcast.
Jer Bear. I feel great. I'm
I can
comfortable.
see your sadness through the costume.
You really can.
What kind of bear are you?
A Jer Bear.
Jer Bear.
No, I know, but like like you're
The
not
Jer Bear.
You're not a grizzly.
Yeah,
brown
this is a great
bear.
question, Greg. I don't know.
A sad bear.
A sad brown Jer Bear of some kind. It's really hot. It's warm. I can't breathe properly in this. It's not fun.
Right.
3 more hours.
It's a punishment.
Do you think if hikers on a trail saw you in the wild that they would be frightened?
I mean, yeah. Not for the reasons that they'd be scared to see another bear, but if I was on a hike and I saw some random person in this costume walking toward me, I'd be concerned about my safety, sort of similarly to seeing a bear.
Sure.
Because who would do this?
Can he see in there?
I don't know.
I can see.
He can hear you. You can him. You think a hunter would shoot him?
No.
How would another bear react?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Let's ask Ron that later.
A bear would maul him. What do you mean?
It tried to hump him.
Have you ever seen the bear's reaction when it sees itself in a mirror? I'm telling you, this is...
That's a great video.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't
That's a
seen a mirror. You missed out on a lot of animal videos. There's a video of a bear with a mirror. There's just a mirror in the middle of the woods, and this bear is just like walking around, and he stumbles upon the mirror, and he gets so scared because he doesn't expect to see another bear out of nowhere.
And then he
what I
looks
do with my
behind
mind.
it. He looks behind the mirror to see where the bear
Let's
is.
try
and
to
he's like,
find that and
Really?
pull that up.
Yeah.
on the,
That's funny.
Lewis, try to find that.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Try to find the bear looking at himself in the mirror?
No, they'll get it. I'm telling you.
Falika, huh?
I had a note also.
Alaka?
Yeah, I had a note that I was wondering if you guys would be in on.
Yes.
I know. I'm glad that you were laughing because that's kind of my note, and I want to figure this out. So, a lot of the criticism that we will get on some of the shows that I do with you on Stupati, on Cowboys Football, whatever, is the fake laugh that you do, and it kind of like drags out or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I maintain to this day that Stupidity was ruined, and you know. the numbers. I maintain that it was ruined because the show decided to do a laugh track of all of your fake laughs and made it like 40 minutes long. Like, that show's only Stugotz laughing, whatever. And then people just stopped listening. And
so Mike sabotaged me is what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm implying that.
No, I've been feeling that for 3 years. But anyway, go ahead.
Maybe Tony said in my ears, maybe it was Dan.
Whoa!
I don't know if he said it on
It
air,
probably
but-
was.
Well, the point
same
was-
person, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but people haven't been able to shake that whole fake laugh accusation, and then you'll do the fake laugh lots, and then people are like, I can't listen, it's just a fake laugh. So I'm trying to figure out in these 2 weeks that you're doing this, I don't know if I just revealed that this is 2 weeks, but in the 2 weeks that you're doing this.
No, it's okay. We said it yesterday.
Okay, I don't know what's known and what's not known.
Dan's out in L.A., by the way. He's got an exclusive sit-down with George Sedano, and I have big news for you. We have the sit-down before the sit-down. We get Sedano tomorrow. How about that? Anyway, go ahead, Billy.
You think that no one catches on to what you're doing, and I wonder what the ramifications of you booking every single one of their guests the day before them is going to be, because we've caught on to this little game.
We got to get
We'll
Charlotte
see.
and Amin on, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Well, I haven't Charlotte and Amin
Should
been
we?
on yet. Yeah.
Let's do it today.
I found this video. If you guys want to check it out here.
Well, hold on. Billy's not done yet.
Well, no, so I'm trying to figure out if we could do something to kind of control your fake laughter a little bit, so that
I
people
like to
don't-
laugh. I mean, we're in here. We're having a good time. I mean, it's not,
No.
it's not fake when I'm laughing at you.
It's not fake.
No, it is. I know that it is. It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm trying to think of the listener and how we kind of get it under control so that they don't have that criticism against this, saying it's just a bunch of fake laughter. So I don't know if we like fine you. Maybe sometimes if we think like that was a little bit too much, Trey
That's
Wingo's
fair.
not that funny, something like that.
Sure, he's not funny. You're right.
But if he was on,
Guilty, yes.
it'd be like a buckle of chuckets. What did I say?
Was that real?
buckle of
Attaboy.
chocolates?
Right.
Was that real?
We can edit out the laughs. I mean,
No, that's the thing is that's what I was doing for like 2 seasons of God Bless Football. I'm like, yeah, no, sorry, listeners.
Too much?
They thought it was too much when I was editing out the laughs. I'm like, you're in for it.
It's fair. So what are you gonna do? Like,
I don't
help me.
know.
You're my producer. I need you.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I don't know.
Okay.
We all have a fake laugh, right?
Of course we do. Yeah.
My fake laugh.
You think Dan's that funny?
My fake laugh is the only one that actually sounds like a laugh. Like if you put my fake laugh in words, it would actually be ha ha ha. So if you ever hear me going ha ha ha, that's mostly a fake laugh. Yeah, just
That was
FYI.
mine.
My concern here is that if we get rid of Stugotz's laugh, it'll be like watching old sitcoms that have laugh tracks and then
Wow.
taking them away,
Right.
where there's just these awkward pauses and you're realizing that nothing we say is actually funny.
You don't think you need the laugh, Billy, but you need it. You
Wow.
do.
You gotta have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I mean, but you still want to take it away from me?
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying. What I'm trying to do is take away any excuses that people have that don't want to give this show a shot with
Right.
you hosting it. I want to take away all those excuses from them so they give it a fair shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they are.
Okay.
Thank
No,
you.
just-
Billy, lazy river. Okay?
I heard
Have
that
fun,
yesterday.
lazy river. Just go where the river takes you, okay?
I know, but the lazy river is good for
It's
so
what God
long.
bless football is.
Yeah, well.
I know. You want to do something more serious.
Here's another. No, I don't want to do. No, trust me, I don't want to do
He wants to
something
do
serious.
much more serious.
I know he does.
You know me.
He does it. He should because he's great. Billy's a great host, and I'd like to see him develop into a host.
Yeah.
Which is why he is sitting in here today. It has not fallen on me how important Billy has been to my career, and for me, that's what this should be all about: is elevating all the people who have been there for me and Dan for all these years.
Well-
Billy has been in my ear for years. I would say 90% of the funny shit I say on this show is courtesy of Billy Gill.
Please stop. No one's
And-
dying. Let's just relax.
No, it has, Billy. You have helped my career. Therefore, I am trying to help your career by having you become a host. But the first thing you do is criticize my fake laugh. Jesus.
I wasn't criticizing. I was trying. This is constructive criticism. Did Gojo call Notre Dame an Ivy League school yesterday?
He did.
Am
Yeah,
I
of course he
wrong?
did.
Am I wrong in saying it's not an Ivy League school?
It's not an
Did
Ivy
I
League
miss
school.
something?
He made an Ivy of the Midwest joke.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
But he believes it.
Yeah. Also, no one says buy in text. Like that is you're a crazy person if you say buy in text.
I'm just saying I like it when someone does. See
I
ya.
don't because it's basically like I'm tired of talking to you.
Talk to you later.
Yeah. You just talk to them later. Yeah. Those are all my notes.
All right, that's it?
Well, I told you left
The
another
second
page at
page,
home.
right?
Yeah. And then once I'm listening at 1.5 speed, 2.5, it's too fast.
1.8 for you, huh, Greg?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, all the time.
Why?
Because here's why. I naturally speak very slowly and say a lot of ahs and stumble and all that stuff. So when I listen to myself at real speed, I feel like I'm all doped up.
Do you know how many uhs we're cutting out of that too?
I know.
Like you're getting the edited version.
Trust me, I understand that. But when you listen to me at 1.8, I sound younger. I sound like I have vitality.
You could just bring more
Dick
energy.
Vitality. What?
Could just bring more energy. That's another option.
But I don't. I just don't. I have no natural energy. All my energy is contrived. It's fake. I have fake energy, but I don't have natural energy. So when you listen to me at 1.8, 2.0 is too much. 1.5 is acceptable, but 1.8 is the go-to speed to listen to me on the Greg Cote Show podcast, which came out yesterday as it does every Monday.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
what was on the show this week?
You know what? I don't want to. I'm the last guy on earth who's going to bugle his own horn.
You're not.
That's true, but bugle his own horn?
Hell yeah.
Is that even a phrase?
Are you
Yeah.
marveling at your own phrase?
You're bugling your own horn?
We had on Ron Magill, and Ron and I talked for the first time on air about the new book we have coming out on December 5th.
Wow.
And so that was good. We're both very, very excited about it. It's called The Pride of a Lion.
Nice.
It's the first time in my life I've written about anything other than sports, and it was a challenge for me, and I loved every minute of it, and we're excited about it.
That's awesome. Pre-sale?
Yeah, pre-sale's underway now.
Nice.
Yeah, at Amazon, wherever you buy books, you can pre-order this one. So
How many pages is it?
it's not a long book. I think it's like a little bit less than 200, like 188 pages.
On the Greg Cote Show, he shared with the audience the equivalent of how many Greg Cote columns it would be the equivalent of.
Well, Ron had
For some reason, he
I
did
know.
that math like anyone would care. He's
That
like,
was
if you're wondering,
ridiculous.
this book
I
is
kinda
like
care. Hold on, I kinda care.
47 of my columns.
Is it
Thank you,
47?
Wow.
Oh, look at this beautiful cover. That's our Ron Magill photograph,
Nice.
by the way.
I have, Greg, I have some news for you here. I don't know exactly what goes into this, but I'm on Amazon to pre-order it, and it just has like a little colored tab that says #1 new release.
The publisher told us yesterday that in a certain category, like I don't know whether it's wildlife or lions, or, they have all these categories. In a certain category,
Be weird if they had a lion
It's
category.
#1. No, I think it's like wildlife or I don't know the name of the category.
Okay. Well, it's a #1 new release, so congrats.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
Greg.
Very big day for
Yes.
you.
Do I have to buy a copy or?
We'll see.
Support the cause?
We'll see if we can get you one.
Seems like Ron got top billing.
I did notice that too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to kind of rub salt in your wounds there, but Ron got top billing on this book. And
You
I
know
imagine
what?
you did the bulk of the writing.
I did
so.
all of the writing.
Okay, well then what's
It's
going on
entirely
here?
my book in terms of the writing.
The lion's
But,
share of the writing.
No, it's proper billing because the book would not exist without Ron Magill. So
We discussed on the Greg Cote Show.
What, Jer Bear?
Sorry, that needed a Kim Nix laugh. The lion's share of the writing.
It was great. Yeah.
This is easy. If they're just telling you jokes in your ears the whole time, oh my God.
no shit.
This is great.
We made the point on the Greg Cote Show that Greg did the work with his fingers. They made love in this book.
Really?
Ron did the work with his mouth.
Hmm?
My dad did the work with his fingers.
You're
How
not.
about the bugle?
Yeah. Who bugled whose
You can just
horn?
visualize that love-making experience.
I told Christopher on the podcast the metaphor is not working for me. I hate the analogy.
That's when you write a book together, you're making love.
Yeah.
So he ran
guys
with it
made a
again?
baby.
I'll say it again. Ron used his mouth,
Yeah.
and my dad used his fingers.
We got it.
And they made love together.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this. I'm not commenting on it in any way whatsoever.
You know what I'm buying is this book, Perfect Stocking Stuffer, December 5th, huh?
Atta
Yeah,
boy.
it's just wow. Imagine that. It's being released just in time for your holiday shopping. Wow, almost like we planned it that way.
Jess, why is your face in your hands?
She didn't like my analogy.
No.
Right. Well, no one did. Your
No.
dad didn't even like it.
If you just close your eyes, you can really visualize
Do
the
it
art
again.
being made.
Right.
But you really don't want
Love making, one with the mouth, one with the fingers.
We
just
get it.
Together for
Right.
a lion
Well,
book.
McGill had an even grosser analogy on the podcast that I'm not even going to repeat. So
Really?
yeah,
He's kind of a horn dog, right?
yeah, he is. It involved me writing all the words, so therefore that meant I was blanking, and I'm not going to repeat what
Well,
that is.
if you don't repeat it, then
no one
the
knows what you
imagination
mean.
can go wild.
yeah, people have to listen to the podcast. you know,
Oh,
that kind of thing.
look at
That
this
kind of
pro.
thing.
Nice tease.
Yeah, thank you.
You're on your game today, buddy. Let
Yeah.
me tell
Am
you.
I? I
Yeah.
didn't know I had a game
Yeah.
to be on.
Your
Thank
game's
you.
better when Dan's not here, it seems like.
It really is. Yeah.
You
nothing,
agree.
nothing personal, Dan.
No, that's Samson.
Okay.
Hey, it's Mike Ryan. I've got good memories of football, some recent bad memories of football, but one thing about football is Miller Lite makes it better, even when it's not necessarily going your way. And unless you're one of a handful of professional football teams or collegiate squads chances are something hasn't necessarily broke your way this year. Hell, maybe you've even had a result in hand and felt pretty sure about it, but you just decided against it, and it just wasn't your day. Well, whether it's your day or not, let me tell you something. Pair your national obsession of football with Miller Lite. From kickoff to the final whistle, you just can't go wrong with a Miller Lite in your hand. It's the only light beer with a taste worthy of football. I'm telling you, this is what I do every football Saturday and Sunday. While my teams leave me with regret occasionally, Miller Lite never really does. Make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
I don't want to be too extreme on this, but he failed America.
Stugotz.
Okay, very good.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
First off, before we get to Greg's thoughts of the Dolphins, because it's unfair what we do to Greg. He comes in on Tuesdays. We talked about the Dolphins all day on Monday. But I do want your thoughts. Chris, do you have the Bear video?
Oh, I have it. All right, let's look at this thing. So we have a bear in the woods. Come on, let's go, TV crew. Let's go. Pick up my screen. Let's go.
There it is.
There we go. Okay, so we got a bear here stumbling around. You see that mirror to the left? He's like, oh, this is weird. There's a lot of weird stuff here. Oh, my God! I just saw myself. Ah! He's like, ah, get out of here! So that's how I imagine a bear would react if they saw Jeremy in the woods.
But that's what they would do to me.
It's really screwed up to do that to a bear, honestly. He's just like not expecting, just like having a nice stroll.
Right.
And just, we'll watch it one more time. This is good fun. Good, clean fun right here.
That. It really
He's
is.
just like, oh my God!
And then he's going,
He was definitely
a good-looking bear.
Definitely scarred from that for a few months.
Who puts a mirror in the woods?
It's weird.
That's my question.
How did it get there?
It was probably for the internet video. They probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, but you're messing with bears. I mean,
It's not right.
leave the bear alone.
Who would do something for the internet visually like that with a bear?
Imagine that.
What are the chances there was a camera right in front of it, too? Jeez. Small world.
Greg, it was interesting. A bunch of people agreed that you had a weekend where the Eagles lost, the Niners lost, so no more undefeated teams. 72 Dolphins could celebrate. But a lot of people saying the Dolphins were the best team in the NFL through 6 weeks. And so I know you're impressed with the offense. Hawk was in here yesterday, Andrew Hawkins, Tomahawk Podcast. He said that Tyreek Hill is the best player, non-quarterback division, in the NFL. And I agree with him. The Dolphins are overwhelming. I'm not certain they're not the best team in the NFL right now, Greg.
I think they are at this minute. They're an underdog in Philadelphia, but only by 2.5 points, which is very interesting. Definitely they have the best offense. I think it's the best offense in Dolphins history. And when I write that, I get a lot of criticism. Too soon. What about this? What about that? Look, the Dolphins won Super Bowls with Larry Zonka because they ran the ball better than anybody and barely passed. They were as exciting as ever and broke NFL records with Dan Marino because they passed the ball like nobody else, but they didn't have a great running game.
Right.
Now they're doing both. They can run the ball like crazy. They lead the league in rushing. Raheem Mostert has 11 touchdowns in 6 games. And Tua is everything they thought he would be when they drafted him number 5 ahead of Herbert. Tua is the favorite in the MVP odds right now.
Should be.
With great reason.
Yep.
And I just think this is the most dynamic, well-balanced, inventive, exciting offense I've ever had.
Can we end the debate between Herbert and Tua?
Yes.
Is it officially
Yes.
over?
Wow.
Yes.
Someone's making a noise. Where's the noise coming from? Nah, Tony's not ready.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can we see Justin Herbert without Brandon Staley? At that point, maybe with a better coach, I'd be intrigued.
We're going to ask that question about Justin Herbert for his whole career, right?
Yes.
We're just going to keep asking, like, oh, but what if he was with a better coach?
Oh, always.
He has the most unbelievable weapons, too.
Just like now, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are always going to be compared throughout their career.
But Herbert's been in the league, 4 years? And if Staley gets fired and he gets a new coach, it will be his 3rd coach in 5 years.
No, it's a shame for
mean-
him. He's a really great quarterback, but I guess it's the way that we're constantly doing these comparisons between the two of them when one of them is not only winning, but breaking all of these records statistically and having a spectacular season. Obviously, like, the system has something to do with that. It would be crazy to say that it's not Mike McDaniel in some capacity. But also, different quarterbacks fit in different systems different ways, and Justin Herbert has his flaws that maybe wouldn't work if he was just in the system. I think there's so many people saying, oh, well, if Herbert was in Tua's spot, it would be even better. I don't I have no reason to believe that's the case.
I have something that's probably not popular, especially down here in Miami.
Oh, boy.
Dolphins offenses have ruined football for me. Like, I can't watch a football game that's not the Dolphins.
It's done the exact opposite for me.
I just
It's
can't.
made football amazing.
Like, I'm watching. No, it's great, but I'm saying it's ruined the rest of football for me. Like, I can't watch just a single game that's not the Dolphins. Like, if I tune in, it's the third quarter, it's like, I don't know, 14-9 or something. I can't watch it. I'm
the
like,
Patriots
this is boring.
option doesn't do it for
Well, I'm
you?
like, why can't you guys just score? I don't understand. Like, why does it take you so long to score? Why can't you just score in 3 plays in 45 seconds? Like, what's going on
They
here?
spoiled you.
This doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. Is that what Iowa is like? I can't imagine watching Iowa football.
No, we don't score that much.
That's crazy. Why
Billy,
not?
they won a game 15-6 over the weekend.
But why don't you just try having everyone go in motion
You
and
guys should
throwing
score
the
more.
ball? Yeah, why don't you just score more? Just get all the fast players in
Get
the
those
country.
tight ends running early.
Yeah, why can't you just do that? I don't get it.
There have
Me
been
neither.
so many seasons in the past, so many Dolphin seasons in the past, where if they're behind 14-0 in the first quarter,
right,
the crowd is leaving. Everybody's giving up.
The game is over.
The game is over.
Tua was
Correct.
laughing on the sideline after they scored the second touchdown, and I'm like, whoa.
Right.
Because I thought they were going to come back, but I'm like, I don't know.
That's supreme confidence.
He
You
was
know what?
smiling after the second touchdown on the sideline.
When they were behind 14-0, they were still, you know how the odds update now? Christopher pointed this out to me. I didn't know it. When they're down 14-0, they're still a minus 200 favorite to win the game. There was no doubt. And it wasn't just because Carolina sucks, which it does.
Right.
It's because the Dolphins' offense is, until somebody proves otherwise, almost unstoppable.
And like 5 years ago, we were watching Jay Cutler throw passes to Devontae Parker.
Right.
Like that was supposed to be the height of excitement of the Dolphins offense since Dan Marino.
Yeah, amazing.
And now it's this.
So this is the best offense. That's saying a lot considering Marino, Clayton, Duper, and that offense.
I think so, because now they have a running game, and the offensive line has exceeded expectations. And Jalen Waddle is your second best receiver.
Yeah.
There's just so many reasons they're great. One of them is team speed. Raheem Mostert is the fastest running back in the NFL, and he's the fourth or fifth fastest guy in their offense. It's crazy speed led by the cheetah, and it's fun to watch. It's
The
electrifying
Dolphins
to
are
watch
running
this
the
team.
Mostert.
Well done.
There you go.
Raheem has the most touchdowns in the NFL.
He does indeed.
And you know it.
And you know it.
Sometimes it's super tough to fit working out into your fall schedule. Between back to school, work obligations, family, and the return of football, fitness often falls down your priority list as a result. But your fitness shouldn't fall into that trap, especially if you're spending your hard-earned dollars on it. Enter the Peloton app. Motivation that moves you, hooks you, and works for a variety of budgets. At Peloton, your routine should never feel routine. Flip the script this fall by tapping into Peloton's endless variety of exercise options with Peloton Bike and Bike Plus. From intervals to club banger rides, your workouts can go from can't face to can't wait. Plus, Peloton's not just a class, it's a fitness entertainment mashup that'll have you whooping along at the top of your lungs and telling your friends afterwards. Plus, it really works. 90% of Peloton households that join at the start of the year are still active 12 months later. Unsure? We've got you. Try Peloton Bike or Bike Plus free for 30 days. Not for you? Return it for a full refund. Find your zone with a 30-day worry-free home trial of Peloton bikes. Visit onepeloton.com/home-trial.
Hey guys, it's Tony. US Cellular is introducing Us Mode. It's like airplane mode, but for people. You got that? Cool. It's a way to set up your phone so it doesn't get in the way of people really being with each other. Block distractions and make way for a real connection. Give it a try. Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and they'll help set up your phone to Us Mode. For free. Really, for free. Even if you're not a customer, they'll still do it. That's how good US Cellular is. Built for superior 5G connection and real human connection. US Cellular. Built for us. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Don Le Batard.
I heard the hotel industry is moving away from providing shampoo and soap.
Oh, don't get me started on them.
Yeah?
Do not get me started on hotels and the stuff that they do.
Right, what they take from me, I feel like I'm entitled to take something from them. Thank you, Billy.
They're going to throw
Yes.
away the shampoo. They're going to throw away the soap. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the sheets, and I'm talking about the towels.
Stugotz.
Oh, we really care about the environment, so please hang up your towels. Get out of here. You just don't want to wash these towels because it's going to cost you money to wash these towels. All right? This whole thing about you're saving the whales or you're saving the turtles or whatever because I put my towel on a hanger, it is so full of it. All right? You just don't want to give me fresh towels every day. Just call it what it is. Tell me you don't want to give me fresh towels. I'm still going to throw it on the floor. All right?
I feel like water is a renewable resource. And you're not really saving the ocean by using water to clean my towel, are you? Am I missing something? What am I missing? Nail right on the head. Am I missing something?
The end of the story. This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Greg, I have cut your toenails twice. It's an odd sentence to utter.
It is.
Yes, I know.
First time you've ever said that in your life, probably.
Yes, I'm the only person to have cut your toenails twice, and I'm including you. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that.
You got it.
Third time's a charm.
You told me that something was going on with the toenail, though, before the show started.
Yeah. You know, my great right toe on the outward side chipped. I don't know how. But all of a sudden, I'm sleeping in the bed, and I'm feeling my right foot catching on the comforter, like
a hook.
Yeah, and so I investigated, and my great right toe, it's great. I haven't trimmed it yet because I wanted to let it go.
Right.
But now I have to trim it. It's so sad.
Why did you feel like this was a topic for the show?
Weird.
Well, because
it's been a theme throughout the show for 10 years.
The listeners, they know my toe.
Right.
They know my toenails.
I'm just picturing you, back in my day, got my toe topic, good to go. All right, let's head in.
It's. I didn't bring it up. Stugotz did, but I'm glad he did.
Right.
Because it's dear to my heart. I hate trimming my own toenails. That's why I let them go. I let them grow. But now I have no choice. Because it's like a surgical procedure now when I put a sock on my right foot, because the sock will catch on the sharp shard of a great toenail. Because it needs cutting.
You have a snaggletoe.
I do.
Yeah.
Is that a word? I didn't know.
It is now.
Yeah. Right.
One of the most inexplicable things was bringing one of my friends who is not really in the Le Batard Show universe to Moss last year and walking past the Greg Cote toe booth and
hundreds of people.
I had to do the calculation in my head of should I try to explain this or just hope that she doesn't see it?
Yeah. What'd you do?
Probably the
I
latter.
just hurried her past.
Yeah, keep it moving. Yeah.
Keep it moving.
That was the strangest experience of my entire life, is seeing a long line of hundreds of people waiting in line to see my toenail.
Right. Lucy, what's going on back there?
You can pay someone to cut your toenails for you, and it's a really enjoyable experience.
Pedicure thing?
Yeah, pedicures are
Petty's
awesome.
great. Yeah.
But no,
It's so nice.
Lucy, you're not understanding. He needs a hammer and chisel.
Yeah.
No,
They're not going to have that at the Gloss Lab.
You have to go to one of the dingier nail salons, but I have seen them I saw a TikTok once of a guy who used a handsaw. I also saw a drill file type of deal. They have the heavy duty stuff. It might cost you more, but it really is a nice experience.
Yeah, I've never had a pedicure. I don't think a pedicurist would accept me as a client.
No.
They would.
No, this is for people who have committed war crimes.
Lucy's never seen my great toenail.
I don't want to.
It's thicker.
You should show it to her.
Wait, you've never seen it?
Don't do it.
It's
Yeah,
thicker-
Show it.
Shoot,
Show it to her.
We're not
Show it to her,
doing
Greg.
this.
Show it to her.
It's thicker than a seashell.
Right.
That's true.
Well, Chris, I think your dad's asking for help here. And Greg, I will tell you this: a petty is a fantastic experience. Lucy is right.
Unless other than when they're scrubbing the
Right.
bottom of your foot,
No, I
it
love
tickles.
it.
It tickles.
I love all of it. Abby tried to get me to go for years, and I finally went. I was in New York City. I've told this story on the show before, but I was sitting in the chair getting it done, and I sent her what I thought was her. I sent a text saying, "This is better than sex. You were right." I sent it to Alden Smith.
Wow.
He hasn't responded yet.
Have you guys ever done the thing where the fish eat your dead skin off of your legs? And
That's
your feet?
terrible for you. Don't do that.
It's terrible for you?
Yeah.
How
I've
so?
read a lot of stories of bacteria and stuff
I've seen
happening.
horror stories
Yeah.
about the bacteria also.
Really?
Yeah, I'm out on the little fish eating my skin.
bear
I
agrees
would
too.
never have that.
Okay.
Greg, funny enough, I have, because my niece and nephew gave my wife a seashell, when they went to the beach or whatever, so she keeps it in her car to remind her of, the kids.
And you always think that's Greg Cody's toe.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I always tell her, I'm like, babe, that's basically Greg Cody's toenail.
Yeah, thank you
And
for
she's
that.
like, oh my God, it's disgusting. I'm like, no, it's actually quite an honor.
Yeah, it really.
You ruined
Tony.
a nice family heirloom.
Yeah.
Great. That's the best compliment you can pay to me. And by the way, Christopher has something to look forward to. Let me tell you why. When my father, Wild Bill Cote, was very late in his life, I used to trim his toenails. Oh, wow. It was a very and I'm talking about he's in his 80s. Yeah. It was a very intimate moment between myself and my aging father.
Right.
And I would trim his toenails for him.
And Chris is
so
going to be able to do this?
We hope
Not Michael.
that maybe in 10 years or so, Christopher will
Pass
be
it down.
doing
Dad,
that for
you
his
did
dad.
this when Pop was on his deathbed.
Yeah, and you can look forward to doing that. He's going to bestow that honor
I'm just
on
making
you.
sure this isn't happening today. Yes, when you can't move anymore, years from now, I will cut your toenail
Okay,
for
thank you. We got to
But it
get
is not happening
Saturday
today.
off the ground first,
we
and then
go.
the toenails
Right.
come after that.
Baby steps.
Right, exactly.
Put it on the poll. Would you cut your dad's toenails?
Somebody pointed out on social media.
Put it there.
You had such an easy win if you would have just you could have called it Sunday. But you went with
wow.
You went with
But it's
Dadder
not,
Day.
no, because it's
Day.
but
Yeah,
it's
that-
not to celebrate the sons; it's to celebrate the dad. So it's Dadder Day.
You know what? I'm gonna prefer Dadder Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Put it on the poll. What's a better day for help your dad in the yard? Name.
Dadder Day
Plus,
or Sunday?
I feel like Sunday would work.
Sunday's more exclusive because it's only to sons. Where Dadder Day, you can have daughters involved as
True.
well.
Dadder Day is all about honoring your dad.
Yeah, exactly right.
Thank you.
Sunday is about honoring the son or leaving the son alone in your
Exactly.
case.
I just
Yes,
felt like
right.
with the wordplay, Sunday worked.
Nah.
Another good reason for Dadder Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
Greg, what'd you think of the Canes over the weekend?
It's weird. Had they not lost in the way they lost at Georgia Tech,
Right.
there's nothing shameful about a 41-31 loss at number 12, North Carolina. It's only in the context of the loss that made it seem like such a huge
Georgia
game.
Tech, right.
Yeah, I continue to be pro Mario Cristobal. I do. I thought it was patently ridiculous when they lose to Georgia Tech, granted by his bonehead mistake, and it's like, he should resign, fire him now. Crazy. The team is much, much better than last year. You can see it. It's palpable. They're going to have a much better record than last year. He recruits like crazy. He's a great recruiter. He has another great recruiting class in 24. It's going to be top 10, and they're going to do fine with him. And I think he's a good coach. They're much better than they were last year. They've lost 2 in a row, one inexcusably, but I'm pro Cristobal.
I'm not. I'm with Billy. In terms of, I think he's a great recruiter.
Yes.
We talked about this a bit last week. I don't think he's a good game coach.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
That's fair.
I think when you have a chance to help your team win and you do the exact opposite of what every other coach in America would do, which is take a knee, you don't do that, the players lose trust in you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't feel like he's a great coach. I could envision a day where not just Miami, but a lot of programs have a guy who's like a CEO overseeing the program, in charge of recruiting, doing all that, and then have a better head coach on the sidelines actually coaching the games. Because there is an art to coaching the game.
Right.
You have to be paying attention.
Sure.
Your team needs to be able to trust you. And right now, I don't feel like the Canes are trusting their coach.
Either that or you need to listen to your staff.
Right.
They were screaming in his headset, take a knee, and he, through willful ignorance, he said, no, we're running the ball. That's on him. I guarantee he will never make that mistake again. If you give me the choice in college football of having a great recruiter or a great game day coach, I will take the recruiter. Because being a great game day coach is just a matter of listening to your assistants and not doing anything stupid. It's overrated.
Overrated. They literally just lost. They ruined their entire season because of it.
Well, they didn't ruin their entire season. They lost one game because of Mario Cristobal. I grant you that. There's no excuse
and it snowballed into another loss against North Carolina.
They probably would have lost that game anyway.
There's no link there.
They're also playing for a conference championship, and having one loss is better than having 2 in the conference. So I think it does matter a lot that it was to Georgia Tech.
Right, it does. I mean, in fairness, I don't think they're playing for the conference championship this year.
Well, they're definitely not now.
They were.
They would have if they taken a knee, right?
Okay, they were because they hadn't played anyone else in their conference yet. It's coming up where they're going to have FSU. They had North Carolina. They have Clemson. Like they have conference losses on their schedule.
But they could have been headed into those games undefeated. They should. Well, maybe they would have lost last week. I understand your point, right? They probably would have lost last week. It was a tough game. Carolina's good. Carolina's really good.
The point is now you just won't know because they lost the game that they shouldn't lose. That's why it matters so much that it was in that game.
I think what's discouraging if you're a UM fan is that, it used to be Clemson was the king of that conference. And now, based on the polls, FSU is the king of that conference, okay? But they're also not as good as Duke of all teams. They're not as good as North Carolina. They're not as good as Louisville based on the rankings. So it's like they're a mid-pack team. A UM fan can accept, all right, maybe we're the second best team in the conference, but they can't accept maybe we're the fifth or sixth best team. And I think that's what Cristobal, that's the hurdle he has to get over.
Well, I feel like that's the exact opposite point, though, you're making about Duke. They hired Mike Elko, who is a great defensive coordinator, great coach, knows what he's doing, knows how to, he kind of blinked at the end of the Notre Dame game, but he knows what he's doing in terms of in-game management. They were able to win last weekend against a conference opponent with their backup quarterback only having 4 completions, I think. Just an awesome defense. They were able to do that within 2 years. He was hired at the same time as Mario Cristobal, and now you're looking at a huge difference, like you said, between Duke and Miami. If you put them head-to-head, I would take Duke in that game.
Right.
But that's the thing that I think Miami fans have to grapple with is you have the great recruiter Mario Cristobal, and you can keep looking ahead next year's class is going to be great, next year's class is going to be great, next year's class is going to be great, but what are you doing with those players that you have on your team right now? Duke doesn't have a ton of 5 stars or a ton of 4 stars, and they're still winning games in the conference because they know what they're doing when it comes to game time.
Right.
Jimbo Fisher is the perfect example of this. He brought in the #1 recruiting class in the country, and Texas A&M was garbage.
Yes.
That is now the Texas A&M team that Miami based, hey, we're really great off of. It is you need to find the balance of it because recruiting has never been more important. But there are teams like Duke, there are teams like Iowa that win games without recruiting well at all.
I have a question for Lucy and Jess on this, and I'm wondering, because I feel like you guys know college football better than anyone here. Do you feel like NIL kind of is the equalizer? So if you're not a great recruiter, but you have the money, you can kind of get people that you wouldn't have gotten before?
I would say yes and no. I think that it serves both purposes, where Texas Tech just had one of the top-rated recruits choose to come play for them. So it brings that advantage to a school that may not get great recruits to come to Lubbock, but it also creates a divide at the same time where the strong are getting stronger. So I can't come out and clearly say it is just an equalizer.
But if you're a middle of the pack team like UM,
gives you a chance.
right? Yeah.
So how did Tech get that player?
Money,
right.
NIL,
okay.
Money. And so there are schools that do it really well. There are schools that do it really poorly. And so I think that the schools that do it well are the schools that were already good at football because they already have a lot of boosters. They have a lot of people that care. They already make a lot of money. LSU, for example, does NIL better than any other school.
They know how to fundraise.
Yeah, they know how to fundraise.
They have a network.
But
exactly.
I think it opens up opportunities to see star players go to schools like Missouri instead, because they have this law where you can make NIL money in high school if you choose to play in state. It's going to create this. I think it depends more on the laws than even the school, because certain schools like Arkansas, you can just pay them directly from the state. It's a very complicated, unregulated system, but I do think it adds competition, but also takes it away at the same time.
But in a school like Miami, for example, right, Mario's big thing is he's this great recruiter. Is that necessary when you're at a school that already has a brand? If you have the money, do you put emphasis on the recruiting, knowing we could get them anyways if we just give them more money? Let's get a coach that's better at coaching in-game.
Well, I think it does matter because, one, they're not going to be able to afford to fire Mario Cristobal anytime
No, yeah.
That's not in the cards. That is how he has built this college football coaching sort of, I don't want to call it an empire because that's not what it is, but he's only done it through recruiting. So if Miami was like, you know what, hey, we can get good players just with the money we have, that's not enough anymore because Ohio State has a shit ton of money. Ohio State can buy whoever they want.
I actually think that it's the same thing. Recruiting and being able to navigate NIL and the portal are now, it's the same job. So if you're a good recruiter, you're probably also good at scouting out players that might want to come to your school after their sophomore, junior year, and it's not separate anymore.
So there's still value to him being a great recruiter.
There's tons of value in it. They're going to be competitive in big games because he's able to get really good players to come to Miami. I think what the existential question is about the program is does the recruiting fall off when you have a longer sampling of what Mario's done at Miami? Are you able to get these players to still buy in? Because last year it was their recruiting pitch was pretty easy. It was look, the U cares about football again. They're paying Mario Cristobal $100 million or whatever his contract was to come here, and they're going to turn things around. And if in 2 or 3 years they haven't really done that, are you still able to sell that to recruits? Like, probably, if you're Mario Cristobal, that's what he's been really good at, but maybe not as well, and maybe that is what changes. I'm not sure.
And if you look at specifically like this past weekend, or rather after Georgia Tech, like Miami still landed a huge recruit who was there visiting that day when they collapsed. So he's still going to be a great recruiter, but the problem is going to be no matter how great your teams are, no matter how many times you get to 8 or 9 wins, Mario Cristobal for his entire career has been losing those big games or losing one random one early in the year that they're not supposed to lose that eliminates them from the stakes that they ultimately wish that they went to. And so even when he had Justin Herbert, like they didn't quite get to where they needed to go because they were constantly losing in these moments. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be a great 8, 9, 10 win program potentially every single year with Miami, but their ultimate goal in hiring Mario Cristobal is to win national championships.
Yes.
And that is a concern when you don't have a great game managing coach. That is why that sort of CEO idea makes some sense with a coach like him, or, you know, selfishly at UCF, a coach like Gus Malzahn, right? Like, I don't trust that guy as an in-game manager. I want him to be the CEO that's in charge of recruiting and NIL and everything else, and let your coaches execute everything from
Great
there.
point, Bear.
There's also the extra added factor that if Miami keeps losing in devastating fashions like this, you are in a day and age where you are no longer just recruiting players to come to your school. You need to recruit your own players to stay. People use the transfer portal more than ever now. Players are leaving bad teams and going where the money is and going where the wins are. You have to add that in too, because you're not just worrying about these high school recruits. You are worrying about everyone else on your own roster right now.
I had an idea.
Oh, boy.
A coaching closer.
Oh, wow.
You know how there's a bullpen in baseball?
That went from an oh boy to an oh wow.
Yeah, you bring in someone to end the game for you. You do this in coaching where you're like, you know what? Our strength isn't the fourth quarter. Our strength isn't the last 3 minutes. Like, our coaching closer is going to come in now, just kind of get us home.
He knows game situations, how to use the timeouts, how to take a knee, victory formation.
Yeah.
I like that, a coaching closer. I do feel like recruiting is such a full-time job that it's hard to do both. Because of the portal, because of transfers, because it's a year-round job now, because you're worried about the kids on your own team staying as well, I do feel like it's hard to pull off both, to be the great recruiter and the great head coach at the same exact time.
That's why, like, the best schools are still the schools that have the biggest, most expensive athletic departments that are, like, giving their college football coach a staff of, like, 5 billion people that they can help out with those things. Like, that's where there's still haves and have-nots in college football.
Right.
Like, Nick Saban's staff is massive. They have analysts, they have scouts, they have people going to other college football games to look at players that might potentially transfer to Alabama. They're not, like, it's not just one guy's job to do it. I'm not saying Miami has, like, a small staff, but I am saying, like, there is still a big difference between the schools that are putting money into those types of resources and the schools that aren't.
Saban's the coaching closer in Alabama. Everyone else is doing the work. He's just kind of in the face. Hop on a plane for a 5-star if he has to.
Wait, but how does this closer work? Does he not make an appearance until the fourth quarter? Do you have to call for the closer? How do you imagine this works?
Is there a bullpen?
I was actually thinking about that. Maybe we have like up choices? In the booth. No, we have the coaching closer up in the booth, and maybe like they're stretching, they're putting on the headset, doing different things. Because obviously they're not throwing. Maybe you throw around the ball a little bit if you want, and then now you do like the light show when the coaching closer is going to come out. Maybe runs out of the tunnel or something.
I like it.
In Clemson, they run down the hill. By the way, say what you will about Dabo. The fact that he's never fallen running down that hill is incredible to me. Incredible to me. Because the day that he falls, he has to just keep walking, right? Like right out of the stadium and can never coach that team again. Incredible that he runs full speed. Because even the players, you see kind of like just hop down sideways and kind of like go in casually, but he sprints down, and I don't know how he sprints down the hill.
It's really steep. Like if you're a student at Clemson, you can get tickets to sit on the hill. That's like the fill-in section. Like if you don't get seats in the stands, like basically freshmen have to sit on the hill.
Yeah,
and it's really. That was I couldn't even tell.
Stu, you found that one funny, huh?
I did.
I missed it.
I was like looking at his mouth not moving, and I was like, wow, this is weird. It's really steep. If you have to stand there for 4 quarters, you're going to have sore calves by the end of that game. It's not pleasant.
Wow.
I was waiting for it.
I couldn't walk down that hill, let alone run.
You could walk down that hill.
No, you would fall.
No, I would fall.
I don't think I could walk down the hill.
The nail might get caught in a blade of grass.
I think you have to take it at a jog, actually.
My nail would trip me.
You know when you're going down a steep hill like at Tropical Park?
Yeah. Oh, I haven't done it yet.
It's actually easier to do it at a jog because you get some momentum and you're very sure-footed. You're not going to trip and fall. If you walk, you might trip. You might trip over your feet.